this video, I'm going to share how one small piece of advice I got when I was a young broker that has successfully guided me whenever I've had to make an important financial decision. So if you're interested, stick around. Welcome. My name is Jason Ko. I'm a certified financial planner and founder of Ko Planning Group. I provide retirement planning and investment management services for Cantonese and Mandarin speaking families living in the United States. We were newer brokers at Morgan Stanley, and once in a while we would have some established financial advisors come down and sit with us. And this week we had Mr. Niall Gannon. He was at the time the number 2 broker in the Greater St. Louis area. And one of my colleagues asked him, what does he see other people do that prevents them from having long-term success? I was expecting a very common answer, advice that sounds good in principle, but in practice is practically useless because it's so commonly spoken. Advice like they give up on marketing, they stop dialing for dollars, they get complacent once they reach a certain level of success, they stop learning about the markets. In essence, I was expecting to hear something to the extent of they lost their hustle. So Niall thought about the question and he gave me an answer that blew my mind and has stuck with me until today. He said they put themselves in a position where they have to make money. What he was referring to was how certain long-term brokers, very successful ones even, can blow up their entire career because they poorly manage their own finances and end up being in a position where the only way out for them is to take advantage of their clients' trust and money. But that piece of advice was impactful for me because it encapsulated all bad financial outcomes to one simple universal truth. And that became a simple equation for me to understand why bad things happen and flip it around to prevent it. Although my wife and I have accumulated a decent amount of savings where we don't need to worry about day-to-day living expenses, I still ask myself that question every day whenever I have to make an important decision. And that's why I chose to save up over 3 years worth of living expenses outside of retirement accounts before I took the leap and leave my job to start my own investment advisory practice. And that is why I today still continue to drive a 2017 Toyota Corolla, even though I would much prefer to drive something much more luxurious. And that is why my wife and I continue to live in a townhome, because it ends up being half the cost of a single family home in the same area. I understand that the lower I can keep my monthly obligations, the further away I stay from a position where I have to make money, where unfortunately the choices at that point would only be bad ones. So how can this apply to your own retirement planning? Well, a very obvious one is to make sure you save enough money before you retire. But that piece of advice is so commonly spoken that it's useless. 2 specific examples that I can think of in my experience working with Asian American retirees is the first one being too speculative and too concentrated in the way they invest and not having a strategy. The bad thing about that is if your concentrated position that you think for sure will go up ends up going the other direction, it can really delay when you can retire because now you're further behind. But on the other end of the spectrum, number 2 is end up being too conservative and having too much cash. Maybe it's a market high and you're deciding to sit out, or maybe markets are reaching new lows and you're fearful about when to get in. But being too conservative can also hurt you because even though you may have been a great saver your entire life and start out with a decent pool of money before retirement, inflation will sure to eat away 2, 3, 4% each year until 10, 20 years later you realize you just can't keep up the same lifestyle that you're accustomed to now. How to achieve the right balance between growth and wealth preservation is something I do for my clients every day and a topic for another video. What I hope you would walk away from after watching this is the next time you're about to make an important financial decision, like can I retire? Can I retire early? How much money can I spend in retirement? Can I move to California to be closer to my children and grandchildren? Ask yourself, will this put myself and my family in a position where I have to make money in order to stay retired? If the answer is yes, then maybe take a step back, reevaluate your choices, and to see if there's another solution that is less risky. But if the answer is no, go ahead and take the leap and do whatever it is you've been wanting to do. You've earned the reward of making good financial decisions. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button because it does help other people like yourself find this video. If you would prefer to listen to this in Cantonese or Mandarin, I do have this video made in those languages. and they're available in the description below. If you or your parents prefer to speak Cantonese or Mandarin and would like professional guidance on topics like Social Security timing, how to generate retirement income, or just to double check to see if you've saved enough money for retirement, please check out my website, coplanningroup.com, where you can learn more about my retirement planning and investment management services and the cost of hiring me. It's all very transparent, all on my website. Thank you for making it to the end, and I hope you book a free consultation. Thank you.